So before I continue with my takedown of Dr. Grande's takedown of Brian Johnson's trying to reverse his age to that of an 18-year-old, I wanted to cover some of President Trump's 3,400 conflicts of interest. I don't think I'm going to have time to cover them all in one video, but who knows, maybe I'll surprise myself. So, President Trump has visited his businesses 503 times, and 303 of these visits have been made to golf courses. 338 individual executive branch officials have visited Trump properties 885 times. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump have visited Trump properties more than any other executive branch officials besides the president himself, 39 and 36 times respectively. Following them are Vice President Mike Pence, former counselor to the president Kellyanne Conway, and Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin. 141 individual members of Congress have visited Trump. This is basically a way for Trump to put taxpayers' money in his pocket, if you get what I'm saying. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham tops of the list with 27 visits, followed by Senator Rand Paul. Remember I said Rand Paul humped the wall. Can't trust Rand Paul because he humps the wall. And Representatives Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, and Kevin McCarthy. And the majority of these visits, 284, have been to the Trump Hotel in D.C. 145 foreign officials from 75 governments have visited Trump properties. 145 foreign officials from 75 governments have visited Trump properties. More Turkish officials have visited than representatives from any other country. 69 state officials from 34 states have visited Trump properties, including 18 governors. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida tops the list. In total, public officials from Congress, the executive branch, and foreign and state governments have made 2,014 visits to Trump properties. Conveniently located just blocks away from the White House, the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. is the most popular property for federal, state, and foreign government officials to visit. Public officials have visited the property 973 times. Mar-a-Lago is next with 385 visits, followed by Trump National Bedminster with 181 visits, Trump National Golf Club in Virginia with 138 visits, and Trump National Golf Club West Palm Beach with with 110 visits from public officials. The president has taken many opportunities to use his office for free advertising. Okay, free advertising for his many properties. White House officials, including Trump, have used their platform to promote Trump businesses 426 times. Okay, so keep that in mind. White House officials, including Trump, have used their platform to promote Trump's properties 426 times, often in their official capacities. Trump specifically has mentioned his properties in speeches and interviews 338 times. Special interest groups, political groups, and foreign governments have held a combined 231 events at Trump properties. During Trump's presidency, special interests have hosted or sponsored 130 events at Trump properties. Trump administration officials and Republican members of Congress often attend special interest events at Trump properties, granting these interests invaluable access, often behind closed doors, in exchange for a large payment to the President Trump's businesses. So he's taking bribes, essentially, is what that is. 48 administration officials, including 13 cabinet members, have attended a special interest event at a Trump property, and 41 members of Congress have gone to one. Political groups have hosted 88 events at Trump property since Trump took office, whereas prior to this, his run for president, Trump businesses were never paid more than $100,000 by political groups in a single year. Okay, so you can see he's raking in the dough from these political groups, okay? And he's utilizing his office as president, or his former office as president, to do so. The president's businesses have raked in $23.2 million from political groups since Trump announced his run for office in 2015, and $9.7 million since he took office. Political groups have paid $3.2 million to the Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C., $2 million to the Trump National Doral, and $1.2 million to Mar-a-Lago. The top spenders are Trump's own campaign and the RNC, and the joint fundraising entity that raises money to those two groups, which together have spent more than $20 million. None of these totals include untold amounts spent by dark money groups that generally don't have to report such spending. Though many of Trump's best customers are his own political groups and those in his immediate orbit, political spending at Trump properties is widespread. More than 200 conservative and Republican political groups have made a payment to one, and more than 36, and of those have paid more than $10,000. These giant payments to the president's businesses have afforded groups that sponsor events at Trump properties access to high-ranking officials. So they are giving these people access to high-ranking officials to fiddle with our politics. President Trump himself has attended 31 of them, and Vice President Pence has gone to another 15. Eight cabinet officials have attended 22 political events at the president's properties, and 67 of Congress have attended one or more. Foreign governments or foreign government-linked groups have hosted 13 events at the president's hotels and resorts during the Trump presidency. These events have brought 67 foreign officials and 20 Trump administration officials to the president's properties. Despite Trump's promise that there would be separation between the White House and the Trump Organization during his administration, the president has continued to be involved with the Trump Organization. He has apparently retained the power to make decisions for his businesses while in office, and has persistently given his paying customers privileged access and information. Remember, he was outed for that. Somebody that he had given top secret information about our submarines to let it out that he was giving classified information that could have endangered our military and our national security. Meanwhile, the Trump Organization has sought to highlight its proximity to power as a marketing tool. While Trump swore against pursuing foreign deals while in office, 67 trademarks have been granted to Trump Organization from foreign governments. China has granted 46 trademarks to Trump's company, more than any country. Now, remember, what's funny about this, Trump said he was going to get tough on China. Notice the president that has gotten tough on China, well, there were two. There was President Barack Obama, who helped to send more of our fleet to the Pacific, and then there was President Joe Biden, who, by playing hardball, got Xi to make some deals, even to allow perhaps pandas to come to the United States. President Trump has used the office of the presidency to promote his businesses, and grant wealthy paying customers personal access to the president, while American taxpayers foot the bill. So he basically is utilizing the taxpayers' money to allow rich donors access to him. Meanwhile, regarding the two properties he mentioned in 2016 in Portsmouth, Turnberry and Doral, while making empty promises to supporters, not only has he spent time at both, but they have become the subject of some of the biggest self-dealing scandals of a presidency rife with corruption. At the 2019 G7 summit in France, President Trump used official remarks to preview an announcement that his administration would hold the 2020 conference at his own Trump National Doral Resort near Miami, likely bringing millions of dollars in foreign government spending to his resort. In his remarks, he praised his property's magnificent buildings and incredible conference rooms in front of international leaders and press. In 2019, Eric Trump falsely claimed that when the federal government stays at Trump properties, the Trump Organization bills official stays at a deep discount. If my father travels, they stay at our properties for free, he said. We charge them like $50. Records obtained by the Washington Post show that's not true. In reality, the Trump Organization has billed the government $650 for a single room, $650 for a single room, tacked on fees and charged the government for periods when Trump wasn't present at his clubs. In total, the Trump Organization has taken in more than $1 million in Secret Service spending alone during Trump's term. When Vice President Pence traveled to Ireland for a meeting in Dublin, he stayed more almost 200 miles away at the president's Doonbeg property. His chief of staff said Trump suggested the resort. The detour cost the government nearly $600,000 in travel expenses, and the Secret Service paid the Trump resort more than $15,000 for the stay. Trump pressured the U.S. ambassador to Britain to see if he could steer the British Open to the president's Trump Turnberry Golf Resort in Scotland in 2017. The ambassador, Woody Johnson, followed up on the request by raising the idea with Scotland's Secretary of State. When the Philippine Embassy held its Independence Day celebration at the Trump Hotel in Washington in 2018, the Philippine ambassador to the U.S. said the choice of venue was a statement. It's a statement that we have a good relationship with this president. In 2017, a brochure from the president's Bedminster Golf Club used the possibility of an appearance by President Trump to sell the resort as a wedding venue. If he is on site for your big day, he will likely stop in and congratulate the happy couple, the brochure said. The day after T-Mobile announced its planned merger with Sprint, for which it needed approval from the Trump administration, 9 T-Mobile executives checked into the Trump Hotel. The company spent $195,000 at the hotel, including on dozens of visits by company executives while seeking the merger, which was approved. In 2017, a special interest group, the American Dental Association, successfully sought access to the president through a member of one of his clubs. A Mar-a-Lago guest passed the president a note he had written on behalf of the group on Mar-a-Lago stationery. The president referred it directly to the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. The same year, 3 other Mar-a-Lago club members were so involved at Veterans Affairs that VA officials gave them a nickname, the Mar-a-Lago crowd. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salam's visit to New York City drove a spike in quarterly profits at the Trump Hotel in Manhattan during 2018, according to the hotel's manager. Though the Crown Prince himself didn't stay there, his entourage did, and they spent enough to put the hotel in the black. In the days before the United States assassination of General Qasem Soleimani of Iran, Trump hinted to guests at Mar-a-Lago that they should watch out for something big coming soon. Trump later described the minute-by-minute details of the strike to donors at a Mar-a-Lago. This is what you don't think this is a threat to national security, for God's sake? Jesus Christ. In 2017, the Trump administration scrapped a bipartisan plan to relocate the FBI headquarters to the D.C. suburbs. The current FBI building is blocks away from the president's D.C. hotel, and relocating it might have allowed a competitor hotel to move in. Indeed, hotel developers had bid on the site. President Trump was personally involved in the meeting about the building location just weeks before the announcement that it wouldn't be relocated. So there you see him working to keep from competition moving in on his territory there, which is the opposite of capitalism. That's the opposite of capitalism for all the conservatives watching. The numbers in this report are the culmination of nearly 4 years of work and blah, 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 blah. The numbers in this report, blah, blah, blah. Spending time and money, blah, 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 blah. Going on. And there's more. You can read this on your own when you get a chance. It goes on and on. Lavish events, blah, blah, blah.